Trying again. Had to restart my computer. Come on. Working? You guys hear me? You see me? I've got Sean calling me. Give me a thumbs up if we're good. I see an eyeball. That's a good sign. All right. Hey, Chris. Thanks for being here. I apologize for being late. I had technical difficulties. I started this thing 3 times, and Facebook's dirty. It's got to clean up its network. Or a cable of mine was dirty. Who knows? But I restarted it, and we're good. When in doubt, restart your computer. And when in doubt, restart your system by going to sleep on time. Yesterday, I was feeling a bit weird. Yesterday, I woke up and I had really bad neck pain. I'm like, what the heck? Did I sleep wrong? Like, same pillow. And when I start getting sick, it dawned on me, it's like, man, my neck is starting to really hurt. I was actually massaging it and driving, and I was even trying to rake some dirt at my house, and it was giving me a throbbing neck. I was like, this is stupid. So it's like, yeah, classic. So I came home. I went to bed at 5 in the afternoon. I went to bed at 5 in the afternoon, and I took some antiviral stuff because people are dropping like flies. 2 of my kids are sick. A lot of our neighbors are sick. Kid came over to our house 2 days ago and puked at his home last night. So yeah, stuff's going around, but I went to bed at 5 in the afternoon, woke up at 8, felt a lot better, went back to bed around 11:30, woke up, I'm good. So listen to your body, okay? That's key. So welcome again. This is number 9 of 10. We are talking NOS3. It's a very, very important gene. And so I want to say, hey, Jan Rainey, yes, you found me. Good. And Sonia Kendick from Sydney, Australia. Welcome to summer for you, you lucky punk. Now winter is coming here to Seattle. And Stacy, yeah, I'm feeling better. Thank you. Good to see you, Linda. Where else we got here? We've got Traveler's Rest again, the place of golf, and I can't scroll up anymore. So, and you keep reading dirty nose. Yeah, as long as I don't have one, to be honest, I check for a dirty nose before I hop on these things. That would be very ugly to look at if I had a nasty thing hanging out of my nose. So, hey, Anastasia, Barbara, Melissa, Sarah. All right, so let's get to work, shall we? So we hear about breast cancer. We hear about a lot of, cancer in the news. But the number 1 killer of women is cardiovascular disease, hands down, by far. So this gene is influenced by estrogen. And as women become postmenopausal, their estrogen levels drop. And since this gene is sensitive to estrogen, as in if NOS3 has estrogen by, estrogen tells it, hey, get in gear, we need more blood flow. But as you get older, as a woman, your estrogen levels drop, and as a result, your NOS3 gene doesn't get to work. So that is a big connection of why women who are postmenopausal have increased risk of cardiovascular disease, and I don't want that happening to you, okay? So, but anyway, what is NOS3? What's it do? This is a gene that produces a compound which is called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a very, very amazing compound that does many, many things. And in your cardiovascular system, it helps make your blood vessels get bigger. Okay, so if your blood vessels get bigger, that allows more blood flow. If you allow more blood flow, you get more nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids. You're getting more immune support, which is mostly in your lymph, but it's in your blood too. You're also getting increased oxygenation. So as your blood vessels are bigger, it's able to carry more oxygen. And if you have, dilated blood vessels in your lungs, then as you breathe in, all that oxygen now that you brought into your lungs, there's like a sea of blood vessels here, just a massive amount of blood vessels, and all that oxygen goes right into those blood vessels and then around your whole body. But if your blood vessels are constricted, then you're not able to get your oxygen to those areas. And what happens if your hands are really cold? Okay, it's cold in my house right now, but I still have good blood flow. See that? What happens to color of your skin if you're really cold? It turns blue. Turns blue. So blue is deoxygenated blood. There's no oxygen in it, or very, very little. So you want red blood. Truly, it is red because of hemoglobin and it's oxygenated blood. So your oxygen drops off the areas of low oxygenation, but if you have poor blood flow in your hands and feet, your hands turn blue and your face will turn blue and then you'll have issues. So this gene is very, very, very important because without blood flow everywhere, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to have reduced nutrient delivery, you're going to have reduced oxygenation delivery, and you're going to have decreased temperature regulation, which is going to increase waste and you're going to get tissue death, right? Tissue death. No one wants that. So that's what it does. But this gene is very, very easy to become dirty. So we've talked about glutathione genes, the GPX, GST. We've talked about PEMT, which makes phosphatidylcholine. We talked about COMT and MAOA, which support your dopamine, norepinephrine, which keep you alert and focused or too calm and relaxed. So if you're too stressed out, your NOS3 gets dirty. Your MTHFR gene, which regulates your methylation. If your methylation isn't working very well and your homocysteine starts creeping up, then your NOS3 gets dirty and you don't get increased blood flow. If your GPX glutathione genes aren't working, you get higher levels of hydrogen peroxide. As your hydrogen peroxide levels go up and your glutathione levels go down, then your NOS3 gets dirty and your blood vessels constrict. So all these play a major role in your cardiovascular system. Who knew that taking things like liposomal glutathione supports blood pressure? It does. There's tons of research on it. Who knew that if you're supporting your methylation, you're supporting your blood pressure? You are. So these are common things that are not talked about. And before I hopped on the Facebook here with you guys, I was reading this and I actually got drawn into my own chapter. It's been a while since I've read this because I've read this probably 30 times, no joke. And so I was getting tired of reading it. But I opened the NOS3 chapter. I was like, God, I actually did a pretty damn good job here. And I was like, I forgot about that. I forgot about this. So there's a lot of pearls in here about NOS3 that we won't have time to discuss, but you'll get your hands on it later. And if you haven't heard about it, Dirty Genes is coming out. Libraries, globally, countries all over the place. We've already have distributors in North Korea, distributors in Japan and in Germany. And Poland is also stocked interest about bringing this. So that's fantastic. So I'm excited about that. So grab your copy at dirtygenes.com and support your own health and your families. And to win a copy of Dirty Genes and to win a course bundle of where to start with genetics and about Dirty Genes itself, what is that? So it's basically 7 hours of information that you can apply, but you can win it. And you do that by tagging 3 friends below who have issues with their NOS3. If it's dirty, tag them below. Do they have cardiovascular issues? Do they have family who's struggling with cardiovascular events? Do they have migraines, headaches, infertility, miscarriage, children with congenital birth defects, cold hands and feet? Tag them below. They need to know this information. So tag it, share it, like this post, and comment, and you will win a chance to get the Dirty Genes course bundle, which includes the book and the course. So get it. A lot of winners already so far. And I'll announce 2 lucky winners a little later. They're here on my phone. So let me show you what NOS3, well, let's talk about here. signs and symptoms. I talked about them briefly, but how would you know that your NOS3 gene is dirty? Remember, NOS3 makes your nitric oxide, which is used by your cardiovascular system to increase your blood flow. So think a moment. If this gene's job is to make nitric oxide, and nitric oxide is used to make your blood vessels bigger, what could happen if your blood vessels aren't getting as big? So throw me down some symptoms in the comment below. Throw me some common symptoms that can happen if your nitric oxide levels are low, which is not making your blood vessels dilate. What do you think? Migraines, Chris? Correct. If you have reduced blood flow, you can get migraines. You can also have migraines caused from too much blood flow, and you would know that from different things. But yes, you can get migraines, a lot of research associated with it. High blood pressure, Helen, yes. Migraines, headaches, yes. Seizures, you will, yeah, that's tricky. I won't get in there, but yeah, that will, yeah, indirectly, but yes. High blood pressure, nailing it. You guys are right. Cold extremities, yes. Brain fog, right. I mean, your brain, as I was reading in Dirty Genes earlier, your brain uses the second most amount of oxygen in your body at rest. Second, heart is number one, okay? So heart uses a ton of oxygen. So your heart's using a ton of oxygen, your brain's using a ton of oxygen. If you have reduced blood flow, you're not going to get the nutrients in your brain. You're not going to be getting the glucose that your brain needs. You're not going to get the ketones your brain needs. Okay, you're not going to get the fats your brain needs. So you're going to have some issues. Tingling extremities, yes. Low libido. I wouldn't say you would get low libido, but you would have a reduced. Yeah, we're getting a bit graphic here, but hey, we're all adults, most of us. Some of us have kids tuning in. So, but yeah, you have a reduced ability to orgasm. So if you have a lower blood flow to your genitalia, then you are going to be having a reduced sense of orgasm, and that's no good, right? So that's an issue, and they even have topical arginine creams that they use for increasing blood flow. And what is all these meds that you can get for men, right? What are these things? What do? They increase nitric oxide. That's what they do. Erectile dysfunction. Men, are you hearing me? Yes. So if you have erectile dysfunction or early signs of erectile dysfunction, that is a key trigger that your NOS3 gene is dirty. And I'm pretty sure men don't want to have erectile dysfunction. That is a huge problem. So, or if you're more flaccid than you should be, then that's also a sign that you have issues with your nitric oxide. You're not getting enough blood flow. So you need to evaluate that for sure. That's an early sign, and you should be checking it out. Shortness of breath. Yeah, you'll have shortness of breath because you just have, you're not delivering oxygen. So asthmatics, asthma. So Carol, I'll turn this shortness of breath into asthma. So if your nitric oxide levels are not working how they should be, you've got exercise-induced asthma and you have regular old asthma. So you need nitric oxide for blood flow in your lungs. But if you have too much, it becomes a problem. So it's a fine balance. It is a total bell-shaped curve, this stuff. Too much nitric oxide, a problem. Too little, problem. Okay, that's how most of this is. Dizziness. Yeah, I don't, that's a good point. I don't know. I would probably say yeah, but not sure. It makes sense. Janine, clots, for sure. Leah, orthostatic intolerance. Yes, I would agree with that, because your blood flow is not being able to respond quickly. That is a lot to do with your adrenals as well. But if your NOS3 isn't dilating or constricting, then that could be an issue. But I would say that's mainly adrenals. I got to think quick here because you guys you're typing fast. Neuropathy. Yes. What condition increases the risk of neuropathy dramatically, dramatically. Diabetes. Diabetes is pervasive. A lot of people have diabetes. Maybe you have diabetes type 2. Maybe you have diabetes type 1. And what diabetes does is increases oxidative stress on your body immensely. And what does oxidative stress do to your NOS3? It dirties it up. It dirties it up. And if you get decreased blood flow, your nerves are going to start struggling. And so you get neuropathy and pain. Reduce athletic performance. Doug, yes. Yeah, so there are studies on NOS3 and performance in athletes. And, I can't remember which way it went. It was confusing. This is a very confusing gene because it gets dirty by so many different ways. But I would say that athletic performance is affected, but I can't remember how. But yeah, you do want to have increased blood flow while you're running for sure. Leg cramps. Leg cramps. Well, decreased blood flow is going to have decreased electrolyte delivery and increased. I got distracted because somebody says, well, how do we fix it? Hold on. So if you have decreased blood flow to your muscles, then you have decreased delivery of your electrolytes. So, magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium, and so on. So yeah, you would cramp up. So POTS indication of dirty NOS3. I'm gonna write that down because a lot of you guys are writing some good comments here. So NOS3, NOS3, and POTS, and orthostatic hypertension. If you guys figure it out below, say, I know there's some health professionals on here. I know there's some really savvy individuals here as well. So if you go to PubMed, you type NOS3 POTS or NOS3 orthostatic hypotension, and you get a research article, post it. Don't post any nonsense articles that don't have any scientific verification of where they got the information. I don't want that in here. I don't want people getting confused. So if you're going to be posting articles on here to reference some of this information, please, it needs to be scientifically validated, and it has to be with references, okay? Yeah, arginine causes cold sores. Yeah, that's a whole other ball game. I'm not going to get there, not yet. What about varicose veins or spider veins? Varicose veins are usually a collagen issue or a venous tone or a valve that's messed up, low antioxidants, so low flavonoids, low vitamin C. So yeah, there's definitely some things there, but I don't think NOS3 has to do with that. I haven't looked it up. NOS3 and varicose veins, I'll tie that down too. Hawthorn extract is actually really, really good for varicose veins. I actually made a cream with hawthorn extract in it for my wife because she had varicose veins during pregnancy, and that helped her immensely. It's very astringent. So let me show you here. Again, I'm pulling out Matthew. So Matthew, remember my middle boy who I left early on last week. Yeah, on Thursday last week to go watch his meet. Yeah, he did really well. And he basically got his same time, but the course was a bit longer, so he improved. So NOS3 on his, there it is. So there's my son's report. See, he has minus on both. So when the comment below was talked about, see, here's your NOS3 gene. My fingers are long enough. So there's your NOS3 gene, right? My son is minus, meaning that his NOS3 gene is not reduced in function, okay? It wasn't born dirty. So there are benefits to having reduced NOS3 gene function, but what those are, I can't remember offhand. I can't remember what those are offhand, but having a reduced function is definitely a lot of issues with it. I'm sure there's benefits to it because it's selected for. I just don't remember the offhand. In my book, Dirty Genes, I I tell you what they are, the benefits. So hold on, I'm going to tell you how to fix it in a second. But my son's NOS3 is clean, right? But he has MTHFR. So he has MTHFR, and what does MTHFR do? What's that increase your risk for? Methylation dysfunction, methylation deficiency. And as his methylation gets reduced, then his NOS3 gets dirty, because as you're exercising, your homocysteine levels go up, your histamine levels go up. So, and that starts dirtying his NOS3. So he needs to be, I'm thinking out loud here, he probably should be taking some antioxidants just a little bit prior to competing to keep his NOS3 clean. Taking beets before you're competing can also help, because beets are very high in nitrates naturally. And so beet powder can be really useful in some people. Right, let me show you this diagram here. So this is, again, if you guys are new to this is Stratagene. This looks at genes which are different than the general population. And if you know that, then you can take action on it and see how they interact in the pathways. So here is NOS3. Okay, you see that? NOS3 is also called eNOS. And E stands for endothelial nitric oxide synthase. Well, eNOS stands for that. E is endothelial. Endothelial is your blood vessel wall, okay? So that's what dilates. So eNOS is the gene that's associated with blood vessel dilation, and that's due to increased nitric oxide, okay? So increased nitric oxide will support blood flow, which is great. But look what you need for that. All these compounds in green are needed. You need calcium, riboflavin, iron, and you also need a compound called biopterin. And biopterin is made from folate and phenylalanine and a few other things. So that is a really, really important compound that your body makes. You can't get it from food. Royal jelly might have some biopterin in it, but a small amount. I believe royal jelly does have it. And look what feeds into it. Arginine. Okay? Arginine comes from what? Protein. And where can you find a lot of arginine-containing foods? Nuts, seeds, I believe shellfish have a lot of arginine as well. So nuts and seeds have a lot of arginine in it, and protein has a lot of arginine in it. So if you're consuming protein or nuts and seeds, you're getting sufficient arginine. The problem is you also have to have sufficient calcium, you have to have sufficient riboflavin, you have to have sufficient iron and biopterin in order to make nitric oxide, okay? If any of those are low, your nitric oxide production is reduced. So say like you're eating tons of nuts and seeds, but your hands are still cold, your feet are still cold, your high blood pressure is still present, you still have headaches, it's still not working. Your NOS3 gene is dirty, it needs to get cleaned up. So what dirties it? Now follow me here, this is a really important point. Okay, see all this bracket? And see the red right there? It says uncoupled NOS3. There we go, right there. Uncoupled NOS3. So uncoupled NOS means instead of making healthy nitric oxide, you're going to be making damaging superoxide right there. O2 minus is bad. Same gene, different effect. It's going from making a good thing for your body, which is nitric oxide, to a bad thing called superoxide. And so arginine is still used. So you can consume beet extract before sport, you can consume meats, nuts, and seeds, and if you feel worse from them, you might be making a bunch of superoxide instead of nitric oxide, all right? And what happens, why that happens, is because of this. GSSG is damaged glutathione. So if your glutathione levels are low, or you're not consuming them, or you're not able to make it, or you have a lot of stress in your life, or you're breathing down a lot of chemicals in your environment, or you got those stupid tree things hanging on your rear view mirror in your car, those things are increasing your demand of glutathione. And as a result, it's going to dirty your NOS3 and make superoxide instead of nitric oxide, and your blood vessels are going to suffer. Look at this. Low levels, so confusing. Low levels of methylfolate. Low levels of methylfolate come from where? Dirty MTHFR. If your MTHFR gene is dirty, then your nitric oxide levels are lower and your superoxide levels are higher. And what is MTHFR so associated with? Migraines, miscarriages, headaches, high blood pressure, clots, strokes, heart attacks, cancers, a ton of stuff. Very similar to what NOS3 is associated with, right? MTHFR is also associated with asthma. It's also associated with histamine intolerance. So all these things that we've talked about already are starting to pile up. So if one gene is dirty, it can start compounding and makes the other genes work harder, and they start struggling as well. And as they start struggling, then other genes start struggling, and pretty soon, instead of 1 or 2 or 3 or 20 genes being dirty, you've got 100, 200 dirty genes. So it's really important to understand that by cleaning one gene in isolation, so cleaning your NOS3 gene by itself, you can't do it. You can't just run to the store and buy arginine or suck down more beets or eat more protein or eat more nuts and seeds. It doesn't work that way. You have to support your MTHFR. You have to support your COMT and your MAOA so you aren't stressed and so you can fall asleep at night. You have to be supporting your GST and your GPX genes so your glutathione levels are healthy, so your glutathione levels can support your NOS3. See how this is all connecting? That's the beautiful thing, and that's why NOS3 is one of the last genes I talk about in dirty genes. You'll see the table of contents here. Let me show you. It is the 6th gene that we talk about, okay? It's near the end. And so that's for a reason. Because if I wrote about NOS3 first, and I didn't tell you about MTHFR, I didn't tell you about stress, I didn't tell you about all the glutathione, you'd be reading NOS3 and you'd be like, okay, this is overwhelming, I don't get it. But now that you're attending all these other Facebook Lives, you can see the compounding effect, okay? So how do you clean up NOS3? Well, I think you know. You clean up your MTHFR, you clean up your COMT and your MAOA, you clean up your PEMT because your cell membranes have to be healthy, you clean up your GST and your GPX, and you clean up whatever another ones we've done. Come on, help me out here. I've forgotten all the dirty genes. The Super 7, oh my gosh. I think we've nailed them. We haven't talked about DAO yet. DAO, the histamine gene. That's a big one. I know you guys are hungry for that. We'll get there. I'm holding out on this one for a reason, and I'll let you know. So let's answer some questions here. Would this affect your vision? Optic migraines? Absolutely. Your blood flow in your eyes is very, very important, and it would absolutely affect your vision. And let me say this too. Vision, if you've noticed your vision declining over the last few months, last few years, let's say it's getting worse. I've been having glasses since I was 3 years old. I mean, I was born with bad eyes. Trick is to keep them from getting worse. And so if your vision is getting progressively worse, that is a sign that a lot of your genes are dirty, especially your mitochondria. So your mitochondria are the most dense in your eyes, and your mitochondria are the most energy producing little things in your body, right? That's their job. They produce energy along with other things. But if your mitochondria are shot, your vision is going to be shot, okay? So that's where glutathione comes in. That's where carnitine comes in. That's where reducing carb intake goes down. You need to reduce your carbs. Diabetics, what happens with their vision? Becomes terrible, right? Carb intake is high, glucose is high, glutathione levels are low, and blood flow to the eyes are low, the mitochondria are damaged, and bam, the vision gets hurt. All right, so the only time I have cold hands and feet is when I'm actively having a migraine. Interesting. Otherwise, my extremities are toasty warm. Well, that's a great point, Sarah. So let's talk about that for a moment. If your hands and feet are warm most of the time, and then they become freezing when you're actively having a migraine, what's that tell you about your NOS3? It's struggling. So think back, and next time, hopefully it doesn't happen to you again, but think of next time when you have a migraine, think, all right, what happened? Was I exposed to a chemical? Was I stressed out? Is there a food that I ate? Did I not sleep well last night? Go back and backtrack. And sometimes these things are hard to pinpoint, but try to journal after a migraine, during a migraine, that'd be tough. But try to think back of what triggered it. And if you can do that, then you can find the source and then you can clean it up. The good thing with dirty genes is I've got a lot of tools in here to help you clean up your genes. And, I do it in a structured way. So the book will probably help you find it, even if you can't, because I'm going to be giving you a lot of jobs to do to try to improve your health. Let's see. Alexandra, is it better to take glutathione, NAC, or both? I discussed this in the glutathione Facebook Live. So there's a link above where you can watch previous Facebook Lives and you can watch there. Ben, is there any way we can have you read our OAT tests and other tests? Deanne, we are working on this. We're actually working on an online course to teach people how to do OAT. And I just spoke with Elizabeth Lambert, who is a brilliant health professional in this area. She's basically the world's leading expert on OAT translations. Working on it, takes time. High homocysteine equals cardiovascular disease. Yes, it does. Some research will point high homocysteine to cardiovascular disease. Others will say it's not relevant. But you know what? You read the research and it will show you that high homocysteine is associated with a dirty and slow eNOS. And that is an issue, okay? So high homocysteine, what it does, I didn't talk about this, but do you see ADMA right there? So uncoupled NOS, that's bad. You don't want that to happen. So that means uncoupled NOS means your NOS3 gene doesn't work. So that red text right there, that means your NOS3 is dirty and it won't work. And ADMA is called asymmetric dimethylarginine. And that can happen when your homocysteine levels are high. And I don't have that in the strategy report. I have an arginine pathway that I've created and I show health professionals about it. Yeah, it's a big problem. And while I'm on that, before I answer some other questions, a good colleague and friend of mine, Eric Balkavage, I always say his name wrong, Eric Balkavage in Pennsylvania, he's like, arginine is one of those nutrients that is really in demand. And we need our arginine to make nitric oxide, but we also need our arginine to make creatine, and we also need our arginine to support nitric oxide to kill infections. And we also need arginine to support neuronal nitric oxide in our brain. And we also need arginine to support our immune system so we stop attacking ourselves. So arginine is all over the place. Sorry, I probably gave you guys a dizzy spell there. So if arginine is in such demand, what happens if someone has a chronic infection and they're using up all their arginine to make nitric oxide to kill the infection? Bear with me here. So I don't have it on here, but you can see that arginine right here is used to go through NOS3 gene, like we talked about, to make nitric oxide, okay? But this isn't the only place where arginine is used. Arginine is also used by another gene called iNOS. And the job of iNOS is to make nitric oxide so your body can kill infections with it. iNOS will stimulate your immune system to fight bugs. So if you're fighting a chronic infection, you could have low blood pressure, you could have high blood pressure, depending on the situation. But the point is, your risk for cardiovascular disease goes up if you have a persistent chronic infection. Your risk of headaches, migraines, cold hands and feet also go up if you have a chronic persistent infection. So you need to find these little bastards and kill them. So you need to check your microbiome in your gut. You need to check your blood for antibodies against viruses, parasites, bacterial, all these things, Lyme. So you need to identify infections and get rid of them. And we have a section in Dirty Genes where we talk about that. All right. So infections are a huge, huge problem. And if you've been living suboptimally for too long, it might be an infection of some sort that is sucking your reserves down. And I will say, I missed this for a number of years when I was working with patients. I was always looking at labs. I was looking, restoring deficiencies. I was helping them along. But underlying all these deficiencies, underlying all their main symptoms was a chronic, persistent infection that was at the heart of all of it. So you've got to find the infections. You have to find the mold. In your house, you have to find the viruses, the bacteria, the parasites, the overgrowth of bad bacteria or even good bacteria. You have to find them, okay? And it's tricky. It's tricky. Does glutathione help type 1 diabetes? Yes, it does. Glutathione helps most conditions, except if you have cancer. My belief, if you have active cancer, you should not be taking glutathione. That's my opinion, and research supports it from what I have seen. There'll be other oncologists and other leading cancer docs who will disagree with me. But if the only time to not take glutathione, from my own experience, not experience, but rather reading research, is if there's active cancer, the cancer cells will utilize the glutathione to keep replicating. And that's not good. So we don't want the cancer cells to keep protecting themselves. We want the glutathione levels to drop during cancer treatment, and using more pro-oxidative therapies like high-dose vitamin C or targeted special chemotherapy. And these are pro-oxidative damaging things which can increase the death of cancer. Well, glutathione will protect it. Does everyone have Ben's book? On Amazon it says January 2018. Am I wrong on this? Josh, nobody has Ben's book except for me and a few other individuals, very few other individuals. The people who read it and reviewed it and critiqued it and so on. But yeah, you're right. The book does not come out until January 2018, but you are reserving your copy today. And as you're reserving it, you're also getting access to the course. So if you go to dirtygenes.com, reserve your copy today, and you get access immediately to the Where to Start course, along with some other bonus chapters and some coupons. And if you get the Where to Start course, if Where to Start course isn't enough for you, you can get the Dirty Genes course. Will give you a lot more information. So you go to dirtygenes.com to learn about those two. Deanne, how do we do all of that? Do all of what? I'm not sure. Kim, I'm very low in glutathione, but I have the CBS plus minus and thought it was contraindicated to take glutathione and precursors. Is there a way to increase it without supplementing? So again, go to the glutathione Facebook Live, and the link is in my post above here. You can click that and you can learn about glutathione precursoring and how to increase it without supplementing. So yeah, one thing I forgot to say last time is sprouts. Sprouts are a great way to increase your glutathione, broccoli sprouts, but I will tell you, they are very, very strong, and they're kind of funky. Let's see. If you have multiple dirty genes, is there a particular order they should be cleaned? Susan, fabulous question. Yes, there is. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you. That's a gem. And that took me, I didn't know the answer to that question until I was almost finished with the book, Dirty Genes. And then it hit me. It just hit me. And then I started ordering the chapters of Dirty Genes. And I was like, oh my God, there it is. And it was there. So there's an absolute order to it. Yes. And it's in the Clean Genes protocol. It's in the spot cleaning protocol. And I will tell you, you don't start with NOS3. You don't start there. But yes, there is an order. And the cool thing about Dirty Genes is, yeah, it's 7 genes. There's 19,000 genes in the human body, give or take, right? How did I pick these 7? I picked these 7, as some of you already know, some of you don't know, but I picked these 7 because they focus on a major organ system. And I wanted to hit all the major organ systems of the body, okay? I wanted to hit the gut. I wanted to hit the brain. I wanted to hit the cardiovascular system. I wanted to hit the liver. I wanted to hit the detoxification systems. I wanted to hit the cell membranes. So, I wanted to hit these major systems. And so I picked a gene which heavily influences each one of these systems, and I talk about it. Because if we can hit each one of these systems and you clean up that entire gene, you're also supporting that entire system. And if you're doing it for all 7 genes, then you've hit major systems across the board, and the result is you're going to be feeling great, amazing. All right, let's see. You guys are asking some quick questions here. Barb, what is the best way to tackle concerns related to these dirty genes, since we are not doctors? One dirty gene at a time. Well, to be honest with you, I would say the best thing to do would be doing what you're doing now, watching these Facebook Lives. Click all the other ones that you haven't watched so far. These are all free and readily available. Then if you want more information, you go to dirtygenes.com and you get access to the Dirty Genes course. The Dirty Genes course is going to lay a ton of information out for you, okay? dirtygenes.com, Dirty Genes course. You'll get access immediately. Watch that. That is a great place to start. You're right. You're not doctors, but the point is, there's so many fundamental things that you can do that you don't even know how important they are until someone like me comes around and says, hey, are you focusing on breathing? Do you have email apnea? Are you doing this in your home? Are you doing this? Well, tweak it, okay? Tweak it, right? There's a lot of stuff there. Let's see. NOS3 is overloaded. Yes, NOS3 is a very, very overloaded gene. That is why we see a lot of cardiovascular disease on the planet today. That's why we see cardiovascular disease as a, what's the term? I'm trying to be careful here. Cardiovascular disease is an affluent disease for the most part. Cardiovascular disease is, we have ample food, we have ample chemicals around us. If you look at the poorer populations, they're more active, they're eating more healthy food, they have less chemicals to use, they're more family oriented because they have more time to spend with their families. I'm being really general here, big claims. But I think my point stands that cardiovascular disease is an affluent condition. And it's a condition of excess for the most part. Rarely is cardiovascular disease a condition of not having enough. Not having enough nutrients, yes, but how do we do that? By carb loading, by sitting around, by not exercising, by being stressed. So, yeah. Let's see. I see some good research papers in here that people are sharing. Before I get, a lot of you guys have some great comments in here about how to support it. I don't want to, hey, good to see you from Houston. Hopefully that place is getting cleaned up in your place here. Doug, I love your comment here. Thank you. Love seeing men on here. It's usually women, so men, thanks for joining in. Doug Sherman, since nasal breathing produces nitric oxide, then would mouth breathers be more likely to have NOS3 issues? Phenomenal question. I was going to completely forget bringing this up. Thankfully, I talk about mouth breathing in here and how important nose breathing is and things you can do about it and things you can do at home to evaluate your sleep apnea and your tools to support your breathing at night. I learned from Mike Mutzel. I'll answer your question here in a second, Doug. Mike Mutzel of High Intensity Health, he's got some cool videos about mouth taping. And I've got, I think, 6 rolls of special 3M tape that my wife tapes her mouth shut in the evening. I don't do it. Not me. She tapes her mouth. I will tape my mouth. And our youngest boy, Theo, will also tape his mouth because Theo will sleep like this. You know, mouth open, eyes closed. And when your mouth is open and you're on your back, your tongue slides back and it blocks your airway. So your oxygenation drops. So your cardiovascular risk goes way up with sleep apnea. And sleep apnea dirties your NOS3 gene big time. So Doug, fabulous comment. Thank you, man. Phenomenal. And just for that, I'm gonna say, you know what? That's such a great comment that you got a free copy of Dirty Genes and the Dirty Genes course bundle. So team, if you are listening, write down Doug Sherman to get access to the Dirty Genes course and the book. Phenomenal question. I love seeing these questions like that in comments. So good on you, Doug. So mouth breathing, big problem. If you sit there like this all day, look around you, okay? Next time you're on a plane, next time you're at the library, next time you're at work, look at your colleagues. Who's sitting there like this? Or like this? Who's doing that? Okay? Nobody should be breathing like this unless you're an athlete and you're trying to get as much air in as you can. When I exercise, I try to get as much air as I can through my nose. And then when I exceed that point, when I was rowing, man, I was rowing for the Huskies. My mouth was as wide open as I could. I started getting tunnel vision. We'd almost black out from rowing because the last 500 meters, you're already done. And but yeah, that's the only time you should be really mouth breathing is when you are struggling for air and you're using your muscles like crazy. So breathe through your nose. Key point. And if you're not doing that, you've got to fix it. Do you have nasal polyps? Do you have sinus congestion? Do you have mold in your home? Are you allergic to dairy? Do you have seasonal allergies? Fix these things. And when we start discussing the DAO, the DAO gene, it will help your sinuses immensely. MTHFR, supporting that, helps reduce your histamine, supports your nasal passages. But breathe through your nose. Try mouth taping. Only if you can breathe through your nose. I like to use a little bit of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's petroleum-based jelly. I mean, I know it's bad, but I just take a little bit. You can use an essential oil if it's diluted in olive oil. But make sure you dilute it. Don't put essential oil straight on your skin. It will burn. I've done it. So you can take 1 drop of essential oil and say 10, 15, 20 drops of olive oil, mix it, and then place it here and kind of clear out your nasal passages. But I like Vicks Vapor Rub. It's cheap, it's easy to use, and it works. Just go bang, bang, and it opens up my airways at night, and that's what I do. So I'm not really a mouth breather, though. But yes, Doug, great point. So mouth breathing, heavily discussed in Dirty Genes. Let me show you something here. Where is it? I think it's like in the 160s. I just was reading that. Oh, remember we talked about the arginine steel? There it is, explained. And mouth, breathing, ta-da, runny nose, sinus congestion, all there. NOS3 linkages. See, it's all here. And it's researched. Okay, there is lots, all the bibliography of NOS3. See, it's scientifically backed. See all that? PubMed, baby. This is all relevant stuff, and it keeps going. more citations. This stuff is legit. I know I'm a naturopathic physician, but yeah, I'm a scientist as well. And yes, by the way, I'm a licensed healthcare professional in the state of Washington. I am a primary care physician by the state of Washington. So some people who say, Ben, quit calling yourself a doctor, you're not a doctor. Well, sorry, I am a doctor. All right, what about diabetics? Yes, diabetics, type 2, you can fix it. You can fix it. Got to do it. Epstein-Barr, yes, that counts as a chronic infection. Glutathione, yes, when you have amalgams. Yes, it is safe. Use it if you have amalgams. Is it true that increasing methylation in those with Epstein-Barr increases their cancer risk? Whoa, loaded question. Very good question. Josh, man, the men are kicking it out of the park. Ladies, you're doing a great job too, but man, these men have some deep questions today. Yes, if you increase methylation for certain pathogens, not all, if you increase methylation support, some pathogens will gobble up that methylation and use it selfishly for themselves instead of you. Mind blown. Yes. So if you are taking methylation support and you don't feel good from it, you might have increased viral load, you might have increased bacterial load, you might have done something, your body was trying to reduce your methylation as a protective mechanism. We call this a cell danger response. And your body will reduce its methylation on purpose to reduce the methylation getting to these persistent pathogens, okay? I know that's like a huge shocker, unless you've been to my conferences and you're a health professional, I talk about this often. But yes, your body will do that. And there's a gene dedicated to this. It is called the, if you want to learn about it, I'm going to tell you here, I've got a poster over here. I don't want to turn my computer because I'll disconnect it. But AMD1 is the gene which will take your SAMe and it will decarboxylate it. So decarboxylated SAMe is when your body will turn your SAMe, it will take your methylation and it will turn it into something else to get rid of it, to protect you. So yes, great question. Sorry, I had some texts from my son. Pick me up at 4:30, please. And my wife locked her keys in the car, and she blamed it on me for distracting her. That's fair point. But thanks, AAA, for bailing her out. Do I talk about the best test to order to finding these infections? Yeah, we have a whole appendix in Dirty Genes for gut tests and other tests as well, and listing the labs and their websites and which gene they support. So it's all there. I believe glutathione is safe for amalgams, yes. Ben, your Dirty Genes course, how different is it from your Facebook videos? More info in them. It's new. The Dirty Genes course videos are new. There's going to be some information that's replicated for sure, but a lot of it's new and a lot of it's practical and it's sequential and it makes sense. It's practical. It's not over your head confusing. And people who are in my Dirty Genes courses Facebook group, they've bought a lot of my courses and I put out the Dirty Genes course. They're like, this is the best course you've ever done. It's practical. It's simple. I get it. It's sequential. It's all in one place. It's the best one you've done. So, their words. Will I tell you in the book? I'm not sure, but yeah, I will tell you the order of the genes in the book. Yeah, I can't let that one out of the bag. Janet Hickey, I've gone through both bundles. I got get the $57 bundle. You'll be glad you did. Janet, appreciate your support. Thank you. I'm glad it helped you. Barbara, yes, watch all the videos again. Sarah, Natalie, the Dirty Genes course is super in-depth. Facebook Live videos are awesome, but they're just tidbits of the Dirty Genes videos and PowerPoints. Good to hear. Do I feel like GAD1 is important? I have terrible reactions to MSG. I avoid it at all costs. That is a tangent. It's a great question. I will say Sean, I believe you're online. So Sean Swope, if you're with me still, please go to the drbenlynch.com site and grab the article, Frustrated with Genetic Testing. So am I, and plug that in here. And so Janet, you could do the same thing. So drbenlynch.com, Frustrated with Genetic Testing. There's an article I wrote there, and I pick on GAD genes. So read that, and it gives you some good insights. GAD polymorphisms, so GAD variants, are not clinically significant. They're not clinically significant. So that is why they're not in strategy. Having more SNPs. Oh, let me back up here. I don't want to get too much of a tangent here, but I will just say this. We know the saying, more is not better, right? Or less is more, and other connotations thereof, or statements thereof. If you have, glutamate in the brain is high for many, many, many reasons. High homocysteine, infections, inflammation, low glutathione, oxidative stress, all these things will increase glutamate in the brain. High glutamate containing foods like MSG, low B6, all these, low magnesium, all these things will increase glutamate in the brain. GAD SNPs are not clinically relevant. So genetic reporting companies are reporting on GAD, nonsense. Yes, a lot of us have symptoms of glutamate excess, but the causes are different, and it's not a GAD SNP. I've looked a ton. Let's see. Wim Hof, yeah, Wim Hof I've got his course, I haven't done all of it yet. Breathing is key. CPAP machine will help, yes. Try to, Robert, myofunctional therapy. Man, you guys are nailing it today. Myofacial and myofunctional therapy, work on the jaws. There's a lot of things that you can do naturally to support the reduction in mouth breathing. What about people who sigh and wheeze a lot? Jennifer, good, yes. Good one. Another great comment. Yawning. If you yawn a lot, you're oxygen deprived. Yawning is a protective mechanism that, and just saving the word and making you yawn. And if I yawn, you're probably going to yawn, so I'm trying not to. But yawning is a mechanism where it's trying to open your mouth and get a lot of air in. So if you find yourself yawning a lot, you're not breathing properly. So if you're yawning, and I used to yawn too much, especially seated, because seated, you're leaning forward, your shoulders are hunched, right? And your lungs are trying to expand in this compressed little space. It's tough. So I'm trying to keep my shoulders back, my back is straight, and my lungs are able to breathe, okay? Start low and work up. Don't breathe up here. And you're breathing up here if you're, I can't do it. I'm trying to breathe badly. But you'll see your sternocleidomastoid ligaments and stuff pop out. Your muscles, will expand in your neck and pop out. And so your blood vessels pop out. But that's actually really cool that mine aren't doing that right now. So breathe in. Next time, look in the mirror and see if you're seeing a lot of muscles pop out up here, like the sternocleidomastoid. Here's one of them right here. So here's the SCM right there. So if these pop out, plus some other ones, you're breathing in too strongly up here. So you need to stretch your chest, stretch your abdomen, and do this, lean backwards and sideways. So just open up the whole intercostal area, and you can get one of those exercise balls, but first air it out. Those things reek to high heaven. They're horrible. So buy them and just lean backwards on an exercise ball, and you can open up your chest cavity, and that will help you stretch. Do yoga also. Yogis know neti pots are also a great way. What is the best source of absorbable calcium to help ENOS? Good question. Calcium citrate is good. I know some folks don't handle citrate very well. If you don't handle citrate very well, your Krebs cycle is gummed up. If your Krebs cycle's gummed up, it's probably low glutathione, so you need to be working on that. Xylitol, says Dave Asprey. Xylitol is good for the nose. Yes, xylitol is antimicrobial and helps kill pathogens in the gut. There's a great sinus spray called Xlear, Xlear. So Xlear, you can get it on Amazon. It's a nasal spray, and it got xylitol in it. So you spray that in your nose if your sinuses are congested, and you get it up there, and then you blow it out. After it gets up there, it'll start breaking the mucus, and you blow it out. It's a phenomenal product. It's cheap. It actually tastes kind of sweet because it's xylitol. And my phone is going off. Sorry, I got to text my son. Yes. So this is Xlear, Xlear on Amazon. Best way to detox mold? Oh boy, tough question. Professionally, sauna is a really good way. You make your own Vicks, fantastic. Leanne, if you can comment below, if you're willing to share how you make your own Vicks, that'd be fantastic. Learning a lot. Eula, fantastic, glad. Sarah, yes, xylitol is great. Xylitol is in a lot of our Seeking Health chewables, by the way, and our lozenges as well. And so that's an added benefit. One of the best doctors you teach. Thanks, Helen. What does doctor mean? Anyway, doctor means docere, which means to bring forth, to educate. That's what doctors used to do. All right. So Wendy, you feel better when I take glutathione? Yes, so do I. Let's talk about some supplements to support NOS3. And so if it's pretty simple, NOS3 gets dirty by low glutathione. So take what? Glutathione. So liposomal glutathione is available, and get it in non-GMO forms. You can get it at seekinghealth.com. And I think we have double rewards points for everything on Facebook Live too. So you can go to seekinghealth.com and get liposomal glutathione to support your glutathione levels, to clean up your dirty NOS3 because it's super sensitive to it. You can decrease inflammation that the pathogens give you, but the problem is you need to fight infections, so you need antimicrobials. And I don't have any antimicrobials here, but we have Allicin Plus, which is a component of garlic. We have oil of oregano, which is a real damaging to pathogens, so you can try that too. And these are really strong, very, very strong. So take with food after dinner and go to sleep. So Allicin Plus and oil of oregano are really, really strong. Caprylic acid is very good against yeast, and that's also available at seekinghealth.com too. And that's so you got to get rid of these pathogens. Okay, if you have inflammation, say from working out or stress or so on, you could do liposomal curcumin, and this one actually tastes really good. I like this one. I rarely take it though. Homocysteine does what to your NOS3? It uncouples it. Remember the two directions? Okay, you have arginine. Arginine can go to make your nitric oxide through your NOS3. eNOS is another way to call it. So arginine will go through this gene here to make nitric oxide. But if your gene is dirty, if NOS3 is dirty, you're going to be pumping out a bunch of superoxide, a bunch of it. Okay, that's where the liposomal curcumin comes into play. That's where the liposomal glutathione comes into play. And that is where PQQ comes into play. PQQ is a compound that most people don't understand, but it's a tiny little lozenge, really small. Okay, yeah, I chopped off my thumb when I was 3. It's nasty, but there's a little lozenge there, and you can swallow that, and great things happen with that with this thing. So let's talk about exercise for a second, because exercise increases blood flow, and exercise stimulates nitric oxide production. And as you're exercising, your NOS3 gene is working, and as it's working and it's able to stay coupled, meaning your arginine is still to make nitric oxide and it's doing good things. But if you keep working out and your arginine levels are low, or your arginine levels are being depleted, or your glutathione levels are becoming depleted, then what happens? You start pumping out a bunch of that stuff, this nasty compound, superoxide. So let me give you a story. We all love story, and we're an hour and 5 minutes here, but my wife, the first time she took this, she goes, "What in the hell did you give me?" I could give this lady, she's awesome, I could give her glutathione, I could give her methylfolate, I can give her all these things. None of them would help her, okay? It's like they would do the opposite effect for her. They would make her tired, they would make her sleepy, they would make her have brain fog. It's just all the opposite effects what I was trying to do for her. And she, every time we would go for a hike, nothing strenuous, we would go for a few mile hike up in the woods here, and not that steep, but she would be limping for about 3, 4, 5, 6 days later until she could hike again. She couldn't. She's been struggling with rheumatoid arthritis since she was about 17 years old, okay? So we've got it under control. She's doing really well, knock on wood, no drugs, very few supplements, basically lifestyle diet. She's cleaned up her genes, and she's got some really bad ones, I'll tell you. So she has a really bad gene that gets rid of this right here, okay? She cannot get rid of superoxide very well. So when she exercises, she makes nitric oxide for a while, but then she starts promoting the development of this stuff. And as she increases a bunch of superoxide, then her whole body starts hurting, her whole joint starts hurting. So I knew that PQQ will gobble up superoxide. So I gave it to her, and she came limping into my office, and this is like when I first got this product. I formulated it and I gave it to her. It's just simple PQQ. I gave it to her, and here, so try this. And you try some supplements on families, friends, and fools, and to see the outcome, right? So she comes back, and she, like 15 minutes later, and she goes, "What did you give me?" I said, "Well, I gave you this." "Why?" She goes, "My pain is gone." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "My pain is gone." It's like what do you, gone? So that was the first supplement she'd ever realized how significant it was. So every time we go on a hike now, every time she goes exercising, anytime she exercises, she will take a PQQ after. And so the PQQ will gobble up that superoxide stress. So if you have post-workout soreness, if you work out in the gym, or you go running, or you're swimming, or you're hiking, or you're, whatever you want to do, Zumba or Pilates, whatever you do, and you recover quickly, fabulous. You're doing great. If you recover slowly, get this, okay? Get this. And now, this is a funky product, and it's got this purple color to it, okay? And there's no coloring added. This is a natural fermented product, okay? It's bacterial derived, okay? So it can turn your mouth purple. So I recommend swallowing it. Okay, just swallow it. You'll get the benefit. My wife does it all the time. So that is a phenomenal product. I love it, and I don't get post-workout soreness, so I don't take it. My wife, I'm able to go hiking with her a lot more because of it. So that is great. Now, homocysteine. Homocysteine can uncouple it as well. See that? Low methylfolate right there. So low methylfolate can cause a lot of superoxide and not nitric oxide. And there are a lot of research papers that discuss MTHFR has cardiovascular disease problems, migraines, strokes, headaches, preeclampsia, miscarriage, and so on. All these are related to blood flow. High homocysteine, okay? It dirties up the NOS3. So while MTHFR itself is a problem, the bigger problem is the effect it has on your NOS3. It dirties it. So you can support your homocysteine by taking products like Homocystex Plus, okay? And Homocystex Plus is a comprehensive formula which has this stuff in it. Riboflavin, B6, folate as methylfolate, B12, and trimethylglycine. All these nutrients are needed to move the homocysteine, to recycle it back, and to lower it down. Okay, so if your homocysteine levels are high, I would look at homocystex plus. I'd also look at liposomal glutathione. And if you don't want to take all those nutrients, this is a big one. It's just B12 and methylfolate. People love this. And if you have exercise-induced asthma, there was a woman years ago who posted on this Facebook page, I believe. And if you're here, that'd be awesome. But she takes one of these prior to working out. So if you get red in the face during working out, this is kind of leading into Thursday's or next week's histamine one, DAO. I'll get more in detail on it. But if you're working out and you get a red face, that's histamine, okay? So, and that has to do with MTHFR is getting overburdened because histamine can't clear out. Your homocysteine goes up, your histamine goes up, so you need more methylfolate and more B12. I've reversed and stopped, prevented it from happening again, exercise-induced asthma, by 2 things. That's it. Okay? Exercise-induced asthma, glutathione, B12, and methylfolate. Why? Because glutathione keeps your methylation cycle going, because exercise lowers your glutathione levels down. So if you're already oxidized, you can have an issue. B12 and methylfolate also lowers your homocysteine levels, because your homocysteine levels as you're exercising go up. So you take both of those and you're neutralizing those, and as a result, your histamine goes down and you don't get exercise-induced asthma. Phenomenal, simple, and then you have to look at other things, food triggers, high histamine-containing foods. If you're eating cheese, that's also an issue. We'll get into this next time when we talk about DAO. So a couple more questions, and I gotta get out of here. I yawn a ton when I go to the gym. It's the weirdest thing. Natalie, now you know why. You're not breathing properly when you're at the gym. Focus on your breathing. There's a book like the oxygen therapy, the oxygen something or other. If you guys know what I'm talking about, somebody in the Dirty Genes course group posted it. So it's the oxygen something, and teaches you kind of how to breathe. You can watch videos too, but you're not breathing right. You got to breathe right. So if this is helping you, Dirty Genes, pre-order today on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Apple or dirtygenes.com and get your bonuses. If you've ordered on Amazon or Barnes & Noble and you don't have any of these bonuses that we are offering at dirtygenes.com at the $27 level, you can claim them. Not yet, but my team is working diligently on this for you. So if you bought on Amazon, you're just going to enter your receipt in our page in the future, and you can claim access to the Where to Start course, the bonus chapter, and the coupon off at seekinghealth.com, and some other things that we're giving, which I don't remember. And then, but I highly, highly recommend the Dirty Genes course bundle at $57. It's tremendous, tremendous value. So, winners of the course bundle, Doug Sherman, because you asked a phenomenal question, which I had to give you a huge thumbs up for that. Where's the message here? So the winners of this week's course bundle are Terry Pascal and Christine Knapp Phillips. You have won yourself a copy of Dirty Genes, and when it comes out, end of January, and also you get the Dirty Genes course bundle. How's that for an hour and 13 minutes? Informative, useful, mind blown, too much information? Well, good thing is it's recorded and you can listen later. And let's see, high LPA, yes, you got to work on that. Lipoprotein little a, niacin, you will need niacin, but make sure your methylation is working. Let's see, you guys' questions are so good. Your body hijacks SAMe to protect you from pathogens. Yes, it does. Dr. Amy Myers talks about properly detoxing mold. Good. What are rewards points used for? Rewards points are used for, you redeem them at Seeking Health. So let's say you get double rewards points for homocystex plus because you're going to try that. So you get double rewards, and if it works really well for you, then you can apply reward points and you can take money off your next purchase. Or if it didn't work for you, you can use something else, like you use them for any product at Seeing Health. How can we increase BH4? Loaded question, but I would say folinic acid is a big one. Yeah, folinic acid is a really good one. Superoxide does not cause gray hair directly, but indirectly, yes, it does. Let's see. Coffee enema can increase your glutathione production and get the foreign invaders out of your body. Seeing Health has the tools if you need it. I am taking PQQ and berberine for the cells as well. Yes, we do have coffee enema stuff at Seeking Health. We are discontinuing it, so if you are interested, grab it because it's selling out and we won't bring it back. We're narrowing our focus. Carrie, PQQ rocks, fantastic. Would PQQ help pain and fibromyalgia? I would believe so, yes. How many of my PQQs does my wife take after exercise? 1. Isn't PQQ helpful for ApoE? Yes. Let me say something about PQQ as well. Antioxidants have a rate of decay. They have a rate of usefulness. So if you take vitamin C, it's like used once. It's one and done. You take vitamin E, I think it's used 4 times and it's done. You take glutathione, it's one and done. You take things like blueberries, it's a bit more. Now you take PQQ, it can keep going like 20,000 times. So 20,000 times PQQ will keep working and cleaning up all the garbage. So it's super, super efficient. It's like the most efficient antioxidant out there. So vitamin C, you know, it's good, but it's not fantastic. Actually, vitamin C in high dose is really, really good at killing pathogens. Why? It becomes a pro-oxidant. Vitamin C becomes a pro-oxidant during infections. That's why you're taking it so often. You're not taking it as an antioxidant. You're taking it as a pro-oxidant to kill the pathogen. Saving the best for last. I got to go get my kid. Hope it served you. Reserve your copy at dirtygenes.com. Double rewards on most of these supplements are available now that are shared on Facebook Live at seekinghealth.com. Share 3 friends below, comment below, and share this post. Let's help people. Let's reduce the #1 killer of women, which is cardiovascular disease, because NOS3 gets super dirty. Go clean it up. Take care. Bye.